The NIL has basically just about destroyed what I know the system was. And anymore, it's kind of hard to root for the kids when they're starting multimillionaires at freshman, sophomore.
Okay, everybody, what's up? It is Up On Game. Welcome back in. Yeah, make sure you check us out. You know what it is. I give you the whole rundown at the end of the show because I want to jump right into the topics that we had today. Got my man TJ Houshmandzadeh with us. Bruh, Senator Joe Manchin. I think that's his name. Manchin. Mushin? Nah, it ain't Mushin. It ain't man. I think it's Manchin.
Hey, it should be Senator Idiot.
Okay, all right. So let's jump on this. He spoke at a gathering of professionals, and I guess they were in session or whatever. Let me make sure I have this all the way correct, TJ. Let me make sure. So he was speaking. He was speaking about college athletes at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on NIL. That would be the official way of saying it. I got the report from Yahoo Sports and Rivals.com. And he basically said that it's hard to root for kids who are coming into college as multimillionaires, freshmen and sophomores. I almost dropped everything I had that I was holding when I saw this and looked at it. What was your reaction to it? What's your take on a senator saying that young men and women who are getting paid as athletes and becoming multimillionaires going into school or being in school makes it difficult to cheer for them?
Honestly, it kind of pisses me off, bro. It really does because number one, none of these kids are coming into school multimillionaires. None of them. Now, they may be getting close to $1 million. None of these kids are making this type of money. And furthermore, Senator, what type of money are you making that you shouldn't be making? Well, let's answer that. Why are all these politicians richer than everybody else? Why do they have all this money when you retire? Oh, because you guys do all these backdoor deals. You're going to talk about that? You're going to talk about all these deals that the politicians do? Oh, you want this contract? Okay, I get X amount of percent. So why are all these senators and politicians, why are they wealthy? So why? Because the taxpayer money that we pay to pay your salary, it doesn't afford you the type of lifestyle. Oh, okay, yeah, you guys make all these backdoor deals. So don't worry about my house. Clean up your house first before you start coming into where these kids, and let's just be honest, the majority of these kids come from low income. The majority, not all. They not saying this about any other sport. It's mainly football because now the NCAA, that was, in my eyes, organized crime. All the people in the NCAA made all this money. The coaches are making millions upon millions upon millions on the backs of these kids. Why can't they make money off of the money that they bring in? Hey, Senator, how about you work for free? How about that? How about that? You ain't gonna do that. How about you say no to those backdoor deals that you guys all get? You ain't gonna do that either. And so it really bothers me because there's a lot of low income kids. It doesn't matter if it's black, white, Hispanic, Polynesian. It's low income kids that are benefiting from now what we should have benefited from years ago and we never did. This topic really bothers me because I know what goes on uh, in these families. Now that these families are able to make some money from it, I'm more than happy for every kid to get it. But to say they're coming into college multimillionaires, that's not a true statement at all.
You know, even if it were a true statement, why would someone being able to monetize off of their hard work be considered hard to cheer for?
You
Why
know
why
why?
why did it
You
become
know
hard
why?
for you to cheer for them?
You know why? And I don't like doing this. And you know I don't like doing this because the majority of them black.
Hmm.
That's why.
Well,
and
it's
you know it,
interesting. What's
and you
interesting
know it.
is like Arch Manning came out getting paid. He don't need you. We know he don't need no money. That the Manning family paid. Um, I don't. It probably has something to do with racial relations for certain. For me, I just looked at it and it said to me, it's a sign of the times. The whole name you were at a NIL conference discussion gathering meeting, whatever. It's name, image, and likeness. Businesses aren't just giving away money on the goodness of their hearts. They're not saying, here, take this deal for and tweet and Instagram and do a post on our product, and we're going to give you $5,000 per tweet or per post. They're not doing that because, oh, this is great, we want to help the kids out. They're not doing it. That doesn't fit a business model. It doesn't help your bottom line. They're giving them money because they know that's giving them the opportunity to penetrate their clientele and their audience in a different way, in a different manner, probably
It
considered
benefits
to be
all
more
parties.
impactful.
It
Eh,
benefits all parties.
right. So there are tax dollars that are paid, as you mentioned. That the tax dollars come out of that money that's getting paid out. So they are paying their taxes if they're doing things the right way. And I started to dig. I was like, I started thinking to myself, well, why would he be offended by a senior in high school or a freshman and sophomore in college getting paid millions of dollars? I looked it up, and if it's accurate, I think the average pay for a senator is like $173,000. So it was
LaVar,
170 something to that effect, right?
LaVar, why do all these dudes have $1 million homes? If that's what you make, why do you guys all have $1 million homes? What are you guys doing? Is that ever investigated? Is
Uh,
that
you know,
ever investigated?
it's interesting the timing of this. I've been watching the TV show Billions. You ever get into it? It's kind of
Nah,
crazy. It's an older. It's not old, but it's been out. It's like 7 seasons of it, and I've been watching it. It's a pretty dope show, and it kind of speaks to the corruption that you're speaking of how you do things when it's power basically when you're in Congress and when you're part of senates and stuff like that. It opens you up to having more opportunities because people have to go through you to get things approved and to be able to do it.
I had a teammate that was a businessman, and he was trying to get a contract through the city to build a multi-million-dollar building, hotels, apartments, things. Just let's beautify the city. And the congressman or whomever it was, a city council member, I don't believe it was a crime, it was a city council person, wanted a kickback. And he said, this is normal. Basically, this is what we do.
Need a
And they all
finder's
got
fee.
in
Oh,
trouble.
a broker's fee, finder's fee. You
Yeah.
get
Like
give me like a 5% kickback, something to that effect. It happens all the time. The thing about it is the details of it are the details of it, right? Like whatever's going on and how some of these guys that are in positions of power are able to leverage what they're leveraging is what it is. But if you think about it, that's kind of what you alluded to. It's what the NCAA has been doing for many, many, many moons, right? You're taking the talents and it's like if you had talent for Fox Sports Radio or Fox Television or ESPN or any other show that you see, and you're able to hire your talent for free. Now I'm gonna use my talent for free, but I'm gonna generate a gazillion dollars worth of what's going on. You see why all of these conferences are turning into mega conferences. They want to expand their footprint. They want to get larger television contracts. You know what I mean? So you're generating crazy, crazy amounts of money. And if we're being
LaVar,
honest,
you would think after all the years of ripping off players for how many, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that you would be okay that you robbed us, the players before us, the players after us. You should be okay with robbing us. Now that everybody's eyes are open and they realize what's going, like, they really had the nerve to suspend Peter Warwick. And we're going back to our era for getting some clothes.
Some
Are you
clothes.
from Dillard's? Are you kidding me?
Some
They had the
clothes.
nerve to take Reggie Bush's Heisman? Are you kidding me? And now you're going to complain about this when you know, let's say the senator made it, say you're by the book, you do nothing wrong. You know what your colleagues are doing. You know what's going on, but you're going to come over here and try to clean this house that's really clean, but you don't like it. But you're going to leave your house a mess. Go clean up your mess. Go fix that.
It does expose. It expose in the Senator Manchin's case in this scenario. It does expose an old, eroded, skewed way of looking at things. So it's okay to cheer when athletes, young athletes, are doing it and they're doing it for free. So
Right.
do you
Right.
not share do you not share do you not have a pro team? Are you not into professional athletics, or do you feel like it kind of devalues the sanctity of
Hey,
amateur sports?
he can't cheer because they're collegiate athletes, but you can cheer when they're in the National Football League. You can.
I found it to be pretty telling, and I thought it was a tad bit disturbing to have that strong of an opinion. Like I can't. It makes it hard for me to cheer for them. Why? Why would you be looking at what they're making when you're watching them compete? Because
Don't cheer.
I've never
We
seen
don't want your
anybody's money
cheers.
compete. I've never
No,
seen
we don't
anybody's
want
money
your
compete.
cheers. We don't want you
So,
cheering for us. Now,
so
how about that?
but it also made me wonder how many other people share those sentiments or share those values of I don't want college athletes or amateur athletes to get paid. I started thinking, okay, I brought up the idea of being paid, um, the conferences being paid. Would you ever would think about if they took the money that they were generating and funding the school, funding the state, because a lot of that money that goes into, like, I went to a state school, you went to a state school too.
Yes,
A lot of that money that you're receiving, it
comes from
goes
the
back
state.
it comes from the state, but what you generate goes back into the state as well. And so to me, when you think about the business model and how it only exposes the fact that the people that created all of these rules and created all of these hustles were basically it's disrupted the bottom line of how people are doing business, because ultimately I think the reason why he would be upset and bothered is not so much because you see a young athlete getting paid millions, but what it represents. I think what it represents is a change, and that change is going to go into, there's going to be rev sharing that takes place. Eventually, you're going to see television revenue being generated and circulated into the players. They're going to have to share with the
LaVar,
players.
it's almost as if, like, when they had the NIL, now the coaches are complaining because they don't have it's the boosters, or you're going to give to the NIL, or you're going to donate to the school. A lot of the times they're not doing both. And if you're not, the boosters aren't donating to the school, uh, facilities aren't going to be as great. That's less money that the coaches themselves can make. And this is why these coaches are complaining. And it bothers me because the best coaches in the world, let's just say Nick Saban, he's the most established coach, everybody, is making over $10 million a year. And I will say this, I believe Nick Saban's a great coach. But you go to a lesser school with lesser players and see if you can do what you're doing. The answer is no. So you're getting the best kids to fortify your bank account. And now you're going to turn and complain that they're getting paid. These kids are the reason you can make what you make, but you don't want these kids to make $1 and they're the reason you're making millions.
And for what it's worth, we do know that coaches have multiple properties. They have beach homes. They have the homes that they stay in during the football year. They have multiple properties,
Man,
condos, and
coaches
different places.
coaches are making
You know?
the top coaches are making more than players in the NFL. The top coaches.
I used to say this, and shouts out to Coach Spurrier. Coach Spurrier said, "Let me pay him out of my money." Coach Spurrier used to say that, like, "Let me pay him out of my money. I'll pay him out of my money." If you think about a coach that makes over $10 million a year, if they took $5 million a year, you could pay your entire team.
Hey, and
You pay
not
your
one
entire
coach
team.
will do that. If that was allowed, we would have less than 10% of coaches willing to do that.
Or how much would they put up for it to be
Not
done?
nowhere near half.
But it's kind of hard to justify in the mind that you could pay tens of millions of dollars, which those dollars come from Nike, they come from Pepsi and Coca-Cola. It comes from the sponsors and the advertisers that put the money into the schools that pay these coaches. But still, if these guys are bringing the value to your program, like you said, the value of the players is what brings the value to Alabama. I mean, you look at enrollment is up. Hell, look at what Deion's doing. Tickets have gone up over like 400, 500%. You know, the state is making a ton of money off of what Deion Sanders is doing. The school is making a ton of money off of what Deion Sanders is doing. So it is an enterprise, and there shouldn't be any reason why these young people and their families are actually educated on the benefits and the opportunities that come with being able to build your name, image, and likeness, because it does come back to being the American dream, right? It's having the ability to enterprise, to chase, your happiness, your pursuit of
Being
happiness.
able to benefit from what you bring to the table.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
can't I benefit from what I bring to the table?
yeah, yeah,
I don't understand that. To me,
yeah,
when like just those, it makes me angry. Really, to be honest with
yeah.
you, it makes me
Uh,
angry.
and scholarships exist. So are you upset that they're getting free educations? I mean, and it's not free
Hey,
education because
LaVar,
you've earned it,
for the
but
long, for the longest, they had everybody hoodwinked, everybody bamboozled, everybody was fooled. That these kids are on scholarship. That's enough.
yeah,
They had everybody
yeah,
disillusioned about the scholarship was enough.
yeah. Meanwhile, you're going over to let's be real about it. You're going over to the boosters' homes that have money that can feed you. Like you're going and hanging out at their their tailgates because that's the food you're going to eat. And you're walking back, you're taking doggy bags of all of them steaks and all of them leftover links and all that stuff because that's what you're going to eat for the next 3-4 days. That could get you through 3-4 days during season. You talking about not having to check out of season in the pros. Talk about not having to tailgate out of season in college. Like that'll hurt you. You know what I mean? Cats be needing to eat. But and listen, you do get 3 squares. You know, they say you get 3 hots in a cot. You know, there's no real difference. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I found it to be a tad bit disturbing. I hope he retracts the statement and comes back and says, after further thought and time to sit on what it was that he said and what he was thinking, he had the opportunity to see why it makes sense to be able to pay some, because some of these guys know how. They might not need to know how, but some of them do need to know how. Name, image, likeness does not mean you automatically get paid. You have to know what to do. You have to, the schools have to know
I
what to
mean, you
do.
have to have a name, you have to have an image.
You
Like, I
have,
mean, very simple.
there,
Everybody's not making the money. It's just the few that are.
there's more to it
He's
than just,
disturbed by it. That's
yeah.
all.
There's probably a handful of guys that you could look at and the numbers that he's throwing out there that disturb him, that they're actually near that. I mean, you could probably name them like Arch, Shador, Caleb. I mean, maybe Travis Hunter. because he's got Dion. I mean, there aren't very many guys that you can say that are making crazy amounts
But
of money.
they
So,
always talk about the guys that are up here, so it makes it seem like it's so many of them. It's probably a couple per school, and when we say per school, we mean the top schools.
yeah.
That's it.
Indeed. Well, that's TJ Houshmandzadeh. I'm LaVar Arrington. You can continue to hear us give you our takes on the topics that are coming up and surfacing during the course of the week. Make sure you check us out on Up On Game, wherever it is that you get your podcast. You can also subscribe to Up On Game Presents for extended content opportunities. Some great stuff that we're putting out there. Yeah, and you can also hear us on Saturdays from 9 to 11 if you're on West Coast, or from noon to 2 p.m. on the East Coast. All right, make sure you check us out. For TJ Houshmandzadeh, LaVar Arrington, until next time, we'll holler at you.